I don't care if it's 15 minutes. I'm gonna watch until I want to. I want to see how what they're saying about their game. I find it very interesting that Guild Wars 2 and New World are in a very similar situation when the developers are saying everything's fine, we're making the game better, and we're committed to this game, but nobody believes them. I don't think anyone believes in it, and I don't think anyone believes New World's Amazon studio. I really do believe though that. I think they just don't. They're like, no, you guys are just lying to us because you want our money. And I'm very curious to see how they actually say, no, we actually do care, you know? Let me see. What is the first question?
How bad and what was problem with the initial Season 4 release? This delayed fix version, still really bad quality, so want to know what original version was like.
Jesus, that's not difficult. Look how they are like, man, they're calling our game dog shit. This is so sad. Like, I don't know how to respond. Like, they're like super uncomfortable. It's a hard question to answer. Like, honestly, props to them to like letting that question in. Like, honestly.
Let's start with that one. So the delay for Season 4...
She got delayed like a day or two.
Mainly an issue with the way we were testing the build. We thought there were some issues that we had detected. It sort of sent us on a little bit of a wild goose chase. The actual problems, though, weren't something that we found internally. There was a lot of underlying code changes that weren't tied to a particular feature, and it can be frustrating sometimes when it doesn't seem like this particular season had, a ton of brand new features, but it was still kind of buggy, and that's because, we've been talking about doing, technical improvements, quality of life things, kind of behind the scenes things, and they are code changes just as dangerous as any other code change, and unfortunately. We didn't catch some of those things, and they went out.
It's actually kind of interesting because I feel like that's the same thing that happens in Guild Wars 2, right? Like a patch comes out, and it doesn't make sense that all these things are breaking, but they just break, and they just can't find it on. It seems like they're literally having the same issues that we have, and it's weird because this game is new, so they shouldn't have. It's only 2 years old. Guild Wars 2 is 10 years old. Like, it's such a big difference on how the game is coded, right? Like, it probably is way easier for the New World guys to. For it to work for them to develop the game compared to Guild Wars 2 and still having these issues,
Yeah, I mean, just to add on, I think we're not happy with the way the release went either. I think, this is obviously a joyful time in the world, but in our game, this release did not go super well. I think the good news out of all this is today, I'll tell you what day we're filming. We're filming on the 18th. We released the minor today, and I do think, the 19th. We released the minor last night, the 12/18, and I do think that brings with it all the stability. The server crashes should be fixed. The glacial tarn issue should be fixed. Some of the quest progression issues should be fixed. So I do think we've achieved stability again in our build, but it did take a week, and I think that's unacceptable. We need to find ways to sort of find these issues more internally and get them into the build when we release it, not a week later.
That's pretty cool though. Like, they're like, we fucked up and we need to find a way to make, and it might not have been our fault that this happened, but we have to find a way to make it so this doesn't happen again. Which is something that Guild Wars 2 hasn't really said, because the same thing happens in Guild Wars 2 and it's like, that's not how the game works at all. Those games have massive code bases. When did I say that they don't? Of course they do, but of course a fucking 10-year-old game is gonna have a bigger code base than a fucking 2-year-old game. Just because one is big, the other one's also gonna be big. Like, no shit.
Sure, so that's something we're working on and looking for process improvements on.
Bottom line, we got to do better. Like, this is just not where we want the bar. It's not good enough. So
that's such a cool thing for you to hear from your developer. Like, you know what? It's not good enough. We need to get better. That's it. That's such an refreshing. Like, oh yes, that's what it is. No excuses. Like, that to be better. That's that makes you believe in what they in their game. Like they care. So people were not happy, and essentially they were essentially saying like this game is dead. It's fucking over. They're just milking us now. Is my opponents not easier to debug than Guild Wars 2? I mean, it must be a little bit easier considering Guild Wars is 10 years old.
I can apologize, but that doesn't really carry a lot of weight other than we're going to do better. And, we're going to hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Isn't this like the L4 devs saying they can't add more stash tabs because the code makes the game crash when loading otherwise if there are more stash? Well, kind of, yeah. I mean, you could say that it's like that's just a problem because like they kind of fucked up the way they made their game in the first place. The Quarrel. Which is a good point, right? Like, you know, maybe you shouldn't have done the game in the first place so this happens, right? The Quarrel. Yeah, which is true. It depends on how they develop stuff more than the technology. Yeah, I guess so. That they like find a way to like make it so that doesn't happen as much, right?
Controller lock-on and aim assists only.
Oh yeah, they're putting aim assist on the game. I mean, that's nice. You know, that's cool. I think they said that I can skip this part. I don't know what people do. I think they said that the PvE it's gonna happen in PvE, not in PvP. I think that's what they said. We have another question that's interesting.
All right, my question is, I saw in the dev update video about the finally upcoming Crossworld Expeditions, but what happens with the Crossworld Arena 3v3?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Can you give us a little more information about it? Thanks, and happy holidays.
Oh, little happy holidays. That's kind of cute. So they did say that because in New World you have this issue where the game you can only play the game with people on the same server, which is very stupid in terms of PvE. And they're essentially gonna release it so that's no longer the case. But that didn't say anything about PvP. So have I seen the new items in Gem Store? Big fan of Glider Barbecue, super cool. I'll check it out later after this.
Well, he said happy.
Yeah. So thank you and happy holidays right back at you. So for the Crossworld Expeditions that are coming out early next year, we will be that'll support our vanilla expeditions as well as our mutations. And so we're sort of staggering things because we want to build one thing at a time and try and make sure that we're on solid footing before we expand and build on top of things. The 3v3 Arenas Crossworld is something that we're planning on eventually and will be coming in the future.
Yeah, I think, we started with OPR because I think that was a great use case. It's one of our bigger modes, so getting people in there quickly was more important.
And that got our Crossworld tech in place.
And then we're going to move on to Expeditions, and I think that's, our largest PvE game mode. And Arenas is very soon on the docket after.
And Expeditions allows us to get our role tech tied into our Crossworld tech, and then we're going to expand on that and do more roles.
And it's a big UI change, right, for all our activities and things.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
What kind of content can we expect?
Emma says, what is this Call of Duty? Well, this is an MMO, okay? Do you think people are going to play MMOs for like, my God, guys, I'm so excited to be able to snipe my my enemy, like I don't think it's really that big of a deal, right? Like, people don't play MMOs because they want to be like fucking Shroud, right? They play MMOs because they want to, get some gear and kill some things, and they don't want the game to be too difficult. So aim assist in something like this game, it's probably a good idea, What kind of content can we expect to see?
Expect to see for the next 12-month period? More focus on PvP
or
more
question.
Casual PvE-related content?
That's a good question.
You can expect to see a lot of both. We have, big plans for where we're going with PvP in 2024. Again, I'm sorry I can't be more specific until May. But we also have a lot we want to do with the PvE and
raids,
storytelling, making the casual experience better. So we're going to be pushing on them both. And I'm really excited about where we're taking them. Just can't talk about it yet. So I understand that you want it, and I'm sorry that we can't provide that information for you.
Serenity is going to be...
It is interesting. They're really putting everything on the May release. I'm guessing it's because they're probably gonna put the game on Xbox. I'm sorry, on Xbox. On consoles. So they want to put all the news on consoles as soon as that happens. So they're like, console, boom, news, boom, new dungeon, boom, new expedition, new raid, new story, blah, 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 blah. So like, that's probably what they're trying to do. Why is there absolutely no new content in February? Holy fuck. Zay's the question. Imagine answering this question as the developer, bro. Holy fuck.
On the February to May roadmap discussed in today's video, I have never been more disappointed in a New World video. It's almost like you are punking us.
Jesus Christ! Look at their faces! Oh, that's brutal. Man, that's so sad. like I get it, you know, that's kind of true, but also like inviting me into the bar was like, I'm sorry, bro. Like Jesus Christ, that is so sad.
Okay, the festivities will slow down just a little bit now.
Oh my God.
I can promise and assure you we would never punk any of the players on this kind of stuff.
This is so sad.
I also don't think it's entirely fair to say there's absolutely no new content.
Dude, he's like, you know what? Fuck you. You're fucking wrong. Shut up. Say it.
The roadmap. I mean, we've announced a trial, 10-person trial, which is a fairly significant piece of content. We have several events, including a brand new one, the Year of the Dragon. All of the things we're doing to Group Finder, improve Group Finder, Crossworld Expeditions is new content. There's a bunch of new artifacts coming out. I mean, it may not be as much as you want, but absolutely no new content, I think, is an unfair statement. And all I can say is the team is working their tails off, and we're doing as much as we can. And I'm sorry you feel that way. However, we would never, ever intentionally or unintentionally punk any of the players.
Oh, dude, that hurt. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, he's like, you know what? Fuck you. Okay, like he's like, you know what, guys, it's not easy for us, right? Like, you know, like I appreciate that kind of honesty, right? Like, and I get it. They're not getting a lot. Like, to be honest, New World is getting like less than Gears 2. But the thing is, their game is so fucked. It has so many issues, right? They really need to like take time to essentially address those things, right? In order to make the game eventually good. Like, you know, but like I respect that. Like, not imagine having such balls, not only to respond to a comment, but put that comment in the list in the first place. That's honestly so zazed. You know? That's so cool, right? Like, how can you not want to invest your time in an MMO in this guy's MMO? Like, I'll be like, you know what? I don't even know if I don't even care if I don't like it. I want to support you, bro. Like, fuck. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I also haven't played that game that much. And it does have a lot of issues. Don't get me wrong. A lot of bugs and a lot of problems. But
are you looking
Do you
at
need help with the lights here?
you just threw the thing
Are you
off.
looking at influence races to adjust them again? Currently, the way it works, we still just have everyone going to one race of the more important zone. Also, the change has effectively cut off content for those who cannot get on a bit later due to real-life issues. Perhaps 2 at 8 p.m. and then 1 at 9 p.m. and 1 at 10 p.m.
Yeah, it's kind of true. Like, there's essentially like big events on the open world where you have to fight other players in PP in order to capture like a zone, and they happen at different times. So yeah, if you like, I guess if you like, some people, if you probably should make it so it's at different times all the time, because like some people just might have that schedule just fucked forever, right? And yeah, it does end up happening. You know, yeah, it has some issues in terms of balance for sure.
Yeah, so the changes I think as players talking about are specific to Abaton right now.
That's a world.
And we're trying to test kind of different configurations, preferably to help distribute players out, to help with server scale issues. But it's nothing we're hard committed to right now. On most worlds, it is still, I think, 8, 9, 10, and 11 are the windows, and there's only one race at a time. We haven't made a firm decision of committing to any changes right now, but we're definitely like getting the data.
It's not easy to do. It's not easy.
And we hear the feedback,
Yeah,
right? Like we understand the dilemma that player's in, and I think it's a fair one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's difficult. It's not easy to do.
LOL. What are you doing by reducing the content with Winter Warrior?
Jesus Christ! No, I can't. I don't want to read the. I don't want to read the. I don't want to watch this video anymore. They're all in all caps too. Oh my god. This is. All right.
Do y'all even play the game? There's nothing to do because you dropped 2 new items worth of content for Season 4, and now you're time gating the amount of hail spikes you can get each day. Y'all are trash, man. Plenty of players
I can't believe they're looking at this. How are they looking this on stream and responding to this? That is. These guys are fucking. These guys are giga chat, man. Holy fuck. Dude, I can't believe this. This is so fucking brutal, man.
stayed devoted to your game and you just on peaks.
Sorry you feel that way. I've actually really been enjoying the winter event. I think it's brought, some new some new reward vectors for it. The activities are fun. We do realize that changing the reward scheme sort of partially through an event is, something that's a little bit dangerous. Did that partially because we've been seeing some server loads with the events. Like, it's been very popular, and that's led to a lot of people sort of zerging these Yetis in an endless chain, and that's put a lot of strain on the server. So moving to sort of a daily mechanism, I think, will help that. So it's partially for that, but it's also partially, and I wish we had done this from the start, but I think this is a better pattern, I think, for most players, right? Like, you don't want to kill 30 Yetis a day, I don't think, but killing 3 a day and then allowing us to really amp up the rewards, right? Like what this comment did mention is now each Yeti kill is worth like 4 times actually 5 times what the original one was. So it's, you get your sort of daily fix of premium tokens quicker, and it feels like you've accomplished a task and can move on and do other stuff.
I mean, yeah. Otherwise, you're going to feel like, oh, I have to log on today and do it every single time I can. And
that doesn't sound very
experience. This one thing, and it's just doesn't sustain, and it becomes work.
It becomes a chore. Yeah.
So yeah, I think in the
now, I haven't done this event, so it might be like maybe who knows? Maybe the guy was right, but what they're saying, their reasoning here sounds it makes sense, right? Sorry, you feel that way. Yeah, like, I mean, you know what? I guess we're gonna say, like, you can't be like, what a fucking dumbass. No, you can't be. Like, you're the fucking developer. You're gonna be like, you have to take it. You have to take the high horse.
Future, our goal will be to sort of align the reward systems with what works on the server and sort of feels good to an average player, and we'll try to do that at the start next time.
That's the extent of the question.
That's a good, man, this is some good content, man. I didn't even play this game, right? I'm just gonna watch all of them, like, all the time. Like, this is just fucking zazed. Holy fuck.
Today, there wasn't any questions about OPR, just acknowledging that we addressed, but...
Yeah, I mean, there were no questions about OPR because as much as we'd like to talk about the future plans, we're just not in a position to.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I can assure you that we see all the questions and we fully understand players want another OPR map, and we're going to take that and we're going to compare that against all the other things players want, and we're going to try to make what we think are the best decisions for the long-term health of the game.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's all I got for today, but we'll be back next month.
Next year.
Next year, yeah.
That joke. See you next year. Because it's in 1 week. Big guy. I'm going to like this video.
2024, big year, but let's not rush there. It's, we're still in the holiday season, and I hope you all have a fantastic holiday. And, I hope you two have a fantastic holiday. I hope you and your family have a great holiday, Mr. Levin. And you gonna try to time this out again? How about
sure.
And we will see you in a term.
Oh, that's
nerds.
I really, we need more. We need Grouch.
Balance.
We need Grouch to talk about that shit. Grouch needs to go in. What's the most insane comments on the on the forums and just fucking be like, you're so fucking stupid. This is not what it is. And they just laughs at them. We need that. That would be good. 2024, the year of a new world. It even rhymes. That's pretty big. It even rhymes. I think I'm gonna keep watching it because I'm very, as I said before, I think Guild Wars 2 and New World are in the same position. I think both games, they are trying to get the game as best as they can. But that means that sometimes they don't give us much content. And people kind of don't believe them, but they both kind of stuck in their game. Both games are kind of like, we need to make this game more because that's the only game we have, and this is where the money comes from, and that's what we're gonna do, right? And I think I'm really interested in to see how they pull that off, both Guild Wars 2 and New World, and also to compare them both and how both communities, because it's kind of hard sometimes. Like, a lot of people complain about Guild Wars 2 or whatever, which is fine, that's fair. But sometimes it's good to have a frame of reference with another game that isn't, the most successful MMO in the game, in the market, Guild Wars 2 and New World are kind of in a similar position, I think. And yeah, WoW does better, blah blah blah. But WoW is like the fucking behemoth, you know. Even comparing Guild Wars 2 with Final Fantasy is kind of a bit probably better, right? But yeah, very very interesting video. I'm probably gonna check out all those ones, you know, just because honestly they're very good content. And I do like those guys. I'm not gonna lie. I don't play that game that much, but like I like those guys. You know, we're gonna do it. Okay, it's gonna be fun. There you go. Well, that was my reaction to that video. I thought it was very interesting to see how other developers respond to their audiences, especially because we only have Guild Wars 2 to see. And it was very interesting, especially because they really went into some comments that are really kind of like, you know, they were very unhappy with the game. And I was looking a bit more more into it, and I saw some videos talking about this exact video that we're talking about. And most of the videos that I saw and the comments that I saw were pretty much like, yes, we get that you want to do better and everything, but like this has happened multiple times. Like you know, every season is like bugged. Every release, there's a lot of bugs. You guys promised us more content, and you guys are coming back a little bit, going backwards on it, and you guys are really not even telling us. For example, they said that, you know, I guess you could say that maybe it was like a misinterpretation of the audience, maybe, but they did say that like they were gonna come with the PvP, it was gonna be cross server as much as dungeon, and now they're putting in 2 parts. So I understand that. I don't think it's like, oh my god, these devs, they're so much better than, you know, the audience just doesn't know what he's talking about. I think they're both. New World is kind of this weird situation when both parties are very unhappy. The players because they don't get what they want and it's not enough for them, and developers because, well, they're probably working a lot on it and they're still getting like, you know, kind of like memed on it because, well, they can't do enough to make people happy. And I understand as well that it seems like they do have this issue where there's a lot of people, like there's not enough development resources in order to make it so they can actually do enough content for them, which kind of sucks. But I guess it is what it is. But yeah, there you go. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and see you around. Love you. Bye bye.